Welcome once again to the Logan's Run Project. What episode are we on now? Is it 4? Something like that. I'd have 4 written down, so I'm guessing 4. If you're in here live, hope you had a good weekend. I mean, even if you're watching this later, hope you had a good weekend. Or whatever day you're listening to. Oh, my light is shaking. Stop shaking. Okay. All right. I don't think I have any programming notes for this week. Not yet, anyway. Oh, I think I'll be talking to Bandits Keep tomorrow. I'm not sure whose channel that will be on, either his channel or mine. TBD. I want to say it's his turn to go first. That'll be on his channel. 'Cause usually we swap. When we do these things, we tend to swap back and forth. I believe it's his channel's turn to go first. So look for that. Look for that tomorrow. But as for today, let's recap where we were. Let me get Miro up here quickly. All right, can we see that? As we can see that. I'm sorry if you're listening to this and you can't see it, but I believe we finished all the question and answer portion for the different levels of the world, the different details, or I want to say, I guess levels, magnifications, right? Starting from world to region to kingdom. There are multiple kingdoms. In our case, we concentrated on what we were calling the citizenry, which is the people, the nation, the culture inside the domes who is still holding with the traditions of Carousel, who have not given that up yet. I believe the next part was I say finally, but getting to at least sketching out some geography. Let me double check in here. Yeah, I think that's right. So following in the order of procedures as recommended by Worlds Without Number, the next part is to look at geography. And I'll just read a bit from Worlds Without Number just to get us in the mindset. Almost everyone loves a good fantasy map. A well-drawn map has more than purely artistic charms. The names and borders and carefully sketched wilds all evoke possibilities in the viewer's head and invite thoughts about the kind of adventures that could be had in such a land. A place feels more real for having been mapped, and the verisimilitude of a campaign setting is greatly improved by being established in cartography. But as a working GM, your needs are a little different. A beautiful, artistically done map is a wonderful thing, but very few GMs have the skills to execute such a project or the time to create it, even if they did. When thinking about the physical construction of your world, it's important to start with the essentials and save the elaborations for afterwards. Then the next section that we get into is campaign map essentials, which Worlds Without Number says you need 2 maps at the start of your campaign, a map of the region most relevant to your campaign's backdrop, and a map of the kingdom scale area in which your initial gaming sessions will occur. So I believe one of the questions that came up in the Q&A that we didn't do in the last one was essentially building, that kingdom level map. And the reason why I decided not to build it at the time was because I felt like it could really be expressed as a point crawl, which is to say something that looks. Let me switch back to Miro. Miro, you guys are looking at Miro, but I got to switch back to it. A point crawl is going to look very much like this, except that each one of these would be, say, a location. So we'd have this, might be, or it says Logan's Run Project circled. We might have that as we could call it the renewal. What did I call it over here? The Plaza Renewal. And then we could have lines that would connect it, showing different areas. And I felt like in terms of what we're doing, we could kind of skip that a little bit, not because we won't want to come back to it, but because literally I think the layout of the domes is essentially a point crawl already. And that within the dome, we mapped out all these places, and they're all connected by these transportation tubes. So there's parks and lakes, transportation tubes. Nursery, how do you get there? Through the transportation tube. How do you get to the cathedral? Through a transportation tube. All these things essentially already are a point crawl. So what our point crawl would look at would be almost like a subway map. we could decide, look at a transit map, say New York City, how different subway lines connect to different places. We could do something like that. But I don't know if there's a way to do it in Miro the way at least I envision doing it in my head. And I don't have a separate app for doing it. I don't have a camera set up or the space right now to draw it out. So it's something we'll have to come back to. But I thought, I don't know if we necessarily need it, because really what we'd be doing is pretty much having all of these things just connected by different tubes. Hey, Frederick Ork says, know your limitations because players can always make the map of the table. Absolutely. And then Frederick also agrees with me that, yeah, the inside is basically a point crawl already. It really is. Those tubes are really great analogs for the lines connecting different elements of a point crawl. If you're not familiar with a point crawl, I can get into that a little bit later. But suffice it to say, I thought we could kind of skip the kingdom level map. In this case, is pretty self-explanatory. But we still need to deal with the regional map. And this, we don't have to get super detailed because I don't really think there's the movie doesn't really paint much of a picture. They just kind of, it seems like the movie pretty much puts you in a kind of a hodgepodge of look at different terrain types. I think they go, they spend the forest, there's hills, or something seems, I don't know, if not desert-ish, then kind of more desolated, than they see forest and they get into ruin. So it's really, they kind of walk through a quick montage of different hexes almost before they get to the ruins of the city. But we can still map it out and check into it. So I booted up Worldographer, which I will switch to in a minute. And I did create a map with nothing, all blank. Okay, and I think I used their kingdom level map, just because it's small and manageable. And I will switch to that. We'll say goodbye to Miro. Oh, no, let's see, I gotta stop screen sharing. I gotta screen share again. It's a little bit awkward. I mentioned before I might at some point switch from my web-based thing to something where I can share more windows at once. But for right now, I'm just gonna keep. Oh no, something going wrong? Hopefully not. Don't. Oh no, hopefully I'm not getting cut off because my browser's something's spinning. All right. I'm going to keep talking here in hopes that Explorer is not going to crash on me. What's Microsoft's thing called now? Edge. Living on the edge. Am I about to get burned? Come on, pull through. Anyway, hopefully this will come through. Either I'm talking to myself. Come on, Explorer. Not responding. I can't even hit refresh. All right, I'm really at the mercy of whether this is doing something while I'm talking or if it's not. I can't tell. It is spinning mightily. All right. I'm just going to hang with it. We'll see what's happening. Hopefully you guys I'll be able to update. You will see the hex map. Right now it's all grayed out spaces. I had not added anything to it as of yet, but I just saved it basically as a blank map. Using classic icons, and you can see there's a number of them, and there's also features, and they both hold some things to use. Always have a backup browser. Well, at least I'm still broadcasting, which is good. Unfortunately, I can't have a backup browser in this case because I am streaming. It is the browser that is doing the streaming. So I can't have a backup, otherwise I'd be streaming twice. I'm glad I'm still getting through because the window has gotten all gray and it's just spinning its wheels. But as long as you guys can still hear me and see me, that's great. But it seems like I don't know if you can actually tell if I'm a worldographer or not. I'm just flipping to, so we're going to be using, at least for the moment, worldographers, just classic features, which gives a lot of just the very basic black and white, whatever, icons, and then the very classic terrain. I probably could have done this randomly and filled all this up, but I didn't. So we will have to fill it up. And I'm guessing I'm going to just find an icon that looks vaguely. There's one thing that looks like a dome, but they call it a building observatory. I'm going to see if there's something else. There's this kind of plain, just a plain circle. First, I got to see if I can layer the terrain. Can I just layer? I don't want farmland. Is there just... let's maybe just fill it up with... I'm just going to fill it up with grassland maybe as a start. I'm still seeing just a spinning nothing, so I'm not going to touch it. Either Edge will figure it out, or I don't know if it won't. But unfortunately, the big problem is with this is if I forcibly close Edge, what's going to happen is it's going to kick me out. It's going to close the event and kick me out. And it's hard. I can't then restart the event. And I've done that a couple times, and it's kind of a pain. And I lose a bunch, and I end up having 2 streams. So I'm trying to avoid it. We're going to see what's happened. But I filled the thing with grassland, which is just kind of a plain background. And the reason why I did that is I think I can use another layer to put the features on top. I think that's what I'm going to do. Ringed circle. I think I just want a circle. Let me just plunk. Yeah, so I think I can put that on top. I'm going to try to put it about in the middle, more or less. All right. And I'll put a cluster. Let's just put a... Should I put just a... I guess maybe 1. That's going to represent all the domes. I don't need to have more than 1. I don't think there's a better looking thing. Oh, maybe there's like a triangular 3 dots. Oh, 3 dots might be better. I mean, undo the 1 dot, go with the 3 dots. All right, 3 dots for the domes. 3 dots for the domes. That is set in the middle of the map. And then really, I kind of just want to put in just some various features. Oh, Explorer, you are killing me. All right, let me try to shut it down. I'm going to shut it down. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to try something else. Let me try something else here. Hold on. Oh, boy. It is totally nuts. Back. I think maybe I'm back. Hopefully I'm back. If I'm gone, hopefully I'm back. It's showing I'm still here. All right. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Let me try this again. Share screen, window, worldographer, share. All right. Hopefully folks are seeing me. I still see 3 people in the chat. I am back. I just took the gamble and cut my losses with Edge and restarted it. Okay. So now I'm inside Worldographer. I filled up in Worldographer, they call it a kingdom level. I filled that up with green just to have a starting. It was gray. It was giving me gray. All right, you can see the background now. Awesome. Okay, sorry about that slight outage. All right, so I filled it up with green, just grasslands. I kind of stuck in the middle. I'm using, I don't know, just seem kind of cool. I could probably make my own symbol at some point, but just three dots, those are the domes. Those are the domes. So we got the domes just kind of putting in the center of the map. Like I said, the movie it just kind of threw a bunch of different terrains. So I'm just gonna kind of do the same. Let's just say for various, I don't know. Let's put some kind of light woods over here. Maybe some heavier woods over. And I don't really care. I kind of look for, hey, no, nothing. It is working now. We're cooking with gas now. Absolutely. Ultimately, I don't know, maybe throw, I want to put some, maybe throw some mixed, I don't know, maybe not there. Let's just say, whatever. Whatever. The only thing I try to look for in terrains. I just want varied stuff. Hey, Frederick worked in the movie. It's DC. They emerge after traveling who knows where. They end up in DC. Let's throw some wetlands in between these two. Well, that's a lot. That may be more than I want. I like that. Maybe some wetlands like that. Poor grasslands. Maybe we'll put poor, right? Around there, it's kind of poor. Let's just there we go. Yeah, why not? I'm just riffing. I'm just riffing. I'm just looking for things to put in. We definitely want hills. Let's just put some hills. Pocket of hills there. And in fact, let's add some hills. Hills there, and we'll hill this up. So maybe there's a line of hills. A line of hills, and we'll throw some more. Throw some more trees in there, and let's. What have we got? Yeah, how's that? How's that? So I envision maybe there's a river that runs kind of through here into this sort of wetlands area. What's that? Shrubland hills. Interesting. This is kind of poor grasslands. So maybe we could make some dead forest over here. Oops. Actually, let's try to think of a direction. Let's just say that maybe it's more to the north. Things are getting not so nice. Oh, that's hills and dead forest. Oops, maybe not the one. Hold on. Let me find the right things here. Mountain dead forest. Do we got okay, I see. There's dead forest. Dead forest wetlands. Kind of like maybe here. Maybe this is kind of a border area. So these wetlands are okay. These are dead. This is poor. In fact, let's kind of whoops, I don't go that far. Yeah, let me extend my dead forest. We got the hill dead forest. Where do I see those dead forest hills? Here we go. And we'll add. So it's kind of a demarcation, which could be interesting about maybe what's going on in this band of just nastiness. And here it kind of recovers a bit, and we can think about why that might do that. You could think about what that might be. What other things am I thinking about here that they might have? A volcano, an empty volcano, mountains, dead forests, glaciers, mountain forest. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, we have grasslands. I don't know. Maybe we'll have some people who are in this area. So we'll just kind of signify that this is maybe kind of greener over here. Maybe some more of this poor. Kind of poor grasslands is coming this way. Let's make it interesting. Maybe have this. This is kind of an interesting streams or rivers. Yeah, at this level, I don't think they really have it. We could probably put in a stream or river. I definitely envision there's some kind of river coming here. I forget with. I'm trying to. It's been a while since I've been inside Worldographer, so we definitely will need some rivers. I don't know if. I guess we could put a major river in here. I'll have to see. I don't think we want to put it in hex wise. I think we have to draw it in. This is where, unfortunately, I do think that Worldographer gets a little bit finicky and fussy. Is when you're drawing these kind of vector shapes. We definitely want some old ruins. So let me just tap off. We're going to have this line of hills. So what I'm kind of doing, I know I'm kind of changing my mind here. So I'm sort of squeezing in this area of, here's where the domes are, and they're in this kind of a really bad area, right? Just kind of not very poor grasslands, the sort of dead forest, these kind of dead hills. But then on the other side of these dead hills, and they have some easier way because here's kind of sort of ugly, creepy marshes, some more dead forest that they can kind of get to some better areas. But it means the party, and I don't remember what the I don't Worldographer is not opinionated as to how big your hexes are. So these could be 6 miles, these could be less if we think that this is too much area. I'm not really worried about that right now. We can obviously zoom in and get more detailed. I just want to give some kind of maybe some interesting. Oh, let's do some broken. What's other Badlands? Where's Badlands? Show me some Badlands. 'Cause I would definitely mix some Badlands in there also. I don't see any Badlands. Okay, I don't see any Badlands. Do we have Badlands? That's Underdark. I don't want Underdark. I don't want that. Other Badlands? Other Broken Lands? All right, I'm just going to leave that alone for right now. We can definitely mix in. Let's think about where. Let's see. So, shapes. I think I got to do it as a shape for rivers. I think. Methinks shape. I got to do shapes for rivers. Let's throw a ruin down or two just to see. Okay, actually, maybe we should. So, I'm thinking that a river is gonna go. Hold on, let me just go back here 1 second just to fill in. Moors, marshes, wetlands, forest wetlands. Yeah, we'll figure in some kind of marshes. Kind of like that. So we got grazing lands. Okay. And then I'm thinking we'll put a river in there. Let me see if I can remember how to do a river. Oops. Let's see if I can remember river. Circle K. Nice. I haven't seen a Circle K in a long time. All right, let's see if maybe this is good. Let me. Oh, there's a preset. All right. I do think this is where things kind of get funky. Layer placement above terrain. Let's see how this works. So we're going to go. Snake, 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 snake. Basically following. All right. I don't know if I love the way that looks. Does it matter? Whoops, am I adding? Okay. I don't know if I love that. How do I get that? I don't like that little radius it puts around it. Can I put that down to 0? Okay. And this says no fill, but it clearly has a fill. All right. There we've got our river. And here we got, let's see. So maybe we would put, if we're thinking about there being a city, the ruins. Interesting if it was in the marsh. So where might it be? So we would think it would. I would imagine it's near the river, on the river, presumably, or close. If something nasty befell it, and maybe the survivors had to find a space. Maybe for some reason they wanted to be far enough away from the place. Right? We think of the domes were kind of isolated. Maybe in terms of safety. Maybe because of something like fallout. If it is some kind of nuclear explosion, maybe they wanted to get, or some other kind of disaster, they wanted to get to firmer ground. The swamp might be interesting. It could be also that we could talk about, hey, maybe the river's course changed, whatever it did. So the river might have flowing further out here. Now it's over here. So maybe we'll put, I kind of like that spot actually for the city. So let's go up to features. And I'm just using these very basic symbols. Is that ruins, settlement ruins? Do they have city ruins? Or is that my choice? Okay. Let's put the settlement ruins here. Oh, I noticed that's a lot thinner now. All right, hold on. Now I got to go back here. Okay. Let's make this. Maybe I got to make it. No, I don't want to do that. Did I not have you selected? There we go. The river looks a bit better. Still not. Whoops. Still not quite as bright. So we have some ruins. We still got kind of stuff to figure out on this other side of this barren woods. I'm going to put. Well, maybe I'll put some more. I don't like when things are in straight lines. There we go. And now what might be over here? Yeah, I'm probably going to remove these woods around just to. So I try to think about, well, why haven't these things expanded? And the reason they haven't expanded is because that line of hills is kind of blocking them. They're blocked by those hills. Or maybe actually it should be kind of like that. And then we'll put in some grassland hills. And we'll mix in some, where are those more forested hills over here. And then we can mix in some forests. Then a little bit of light forest, just touching up the edges. And then have some more grazing land. Grazing land over here. All right. So now I've got I want to put, so I kind of like the idea of ruins over here, and I think I want to add some other kind of ruins in there. The same culture, what else might they have? And I also want to add at least a placeholder for where might one of these exterior sort of survivor cultures, where might they be out here? What, I don't know what I want to use. Maybe I'll use pyramids. I don't know. Pyramids seems too much like tower. We don't have a ruined tower, I don't think. What's that? Oh, city ruined. Actually, that should really be this. This should be a city. Oh, that was too much. All right, so I'll put. Yeah, maybe I'll put it up. All right, so we'll have a city and then there. So we'll put that there. I don't really like. Yeah, I guess I don't really want to use teepees, but all right. For what we're doing, it will be sufficient. We'll put something there, and then so we got, and I'll add another river. Add another river. I think that was a shape. Mhm. There we go. No, add another river. Okay. So we've got two rivers. These are major rivers, right? Or we got one. So if you look at it, what I've done somewhat intentionally is kind of divided the map into three sections, roughly. The domes are in the middle section, which is kind of the somewhat bombed out, blasted, wasted out area. There's nothing much going on there. It's the domes themselves are located on very poor grasslands. There's kind of dead wood surrounding the grasslands, some kind of dead marshy areas, and just hills, just stuff that is very very poor for all intents and purposes. Just oh, you know what? I'm going to change that river. Just extremely poor. And the reason why I wanted to do that is I want to be able to have that experience of I want the players to have that concept of, one, the world being large. Two, the fact is that if they ask the question is, well, why didn't anybody from the outside come here before, right? Because you think that there are two elements to the whole idea of this dome society. Is one, their whole culture says we don't leave the domes, and that's fine. Well, there's another whole point. This is, well, that has to be, why hasn't anything from the outside tried to come inside the domes? In the movie, it seems like there's barely anybody around. There's Peter Ustinov is in the library, quite far away, and then I don't think they see any other traces of people. So the reason why nobody comes around is because there's not really anybody to come around. If we're going to have a more robust wilderness area, we have to think about, well, why hasn't anybody knocked on the door or just banged it down? I mean, the domes, they don't look broken. They look like they're in good repair. If you were someone born on the outside, that could be your adventure. If you were playing the other side of it, playing Survivors, and you come across these domes, that's like your funnel scenario, something like DCC. Hey, enter these forbidden domes, see what's up. So we have to think about, well, why hasn't anybody showed up there? And the reason I'm positing for why no one showed up there is because it is essentially in this wasteland area that's big enough that people who have ventured in somewhat have not gone far enough. It's far enough into this wasteland, and it's isolated enough by this wasteland to explain why nobody's made it that far, because you really need to have some kind of belief and fortitude driving you. Otherwise, you're just going to give up, and either you're going to it's harsh enough that you could die if you're not well prepared, and even if you are, you're just thinking like, there's nothing here. Why am I wasting my time? So I want to give it an area so it makes sense. It's okay, this is why for some thousand years nobody has shown up, nobody's gone around, but we do want things to be there. And I try to think about, and I'm not a geologist. What did I do there? Hold on a second. Uh, I am not a. I have no idea about maps and whatnot. Right? I'm not. I'm just drawing this in again, and I'm kind of just following the contours, essentially. There we go. I'm not somebody with any knowledge of, geology, geography, that kind of thing. I really just want some kind of reasonable thing I can say. And so to me, it is reasonable that what is going to keep isolate certain areas like that, things like those kind of natural barriers, rivers, things like, marshes, those kind of things, water barriers, hills and mountains, those sorts of barriers. And I probably could fill in some of this with mountain, maybe. I don't know. I think hills is kind of sufficient. So when I look at it, I think of, okay, what has stopped either whatever happened that created this wasteland? Either it's active, it's still happening, like some kind of decay that's going on, or it is something that happened, right? What kept it from just either going everywhere, or also the other side coming in, is some kind of natural barriers. So I have built in some what I think are reasonable, and all I need from this is I just need something that's reasonable that I could say to a player. The player asks, "Oh, why isn't this way?" And you think, "I don't know, maybe it's the water. Maybe the water. There's enough water there; it kind of keeps it at bay." Or oh, the hills seem to be blocking one thing or another. It doesn't need to be perfect in terms of the science. I just need it to be believable enough. And at least to my mind, having hills and kind of water barriers makes it believable enough. So you have these two things that are sort of keeping the wasteland areas uh, together, and separating out some of the more populated areas, which is also good because you have these I guess we call these survivor cultures that are one side, and then some of the ruins are on the other side. And I probably will put a ruin up here somewhere, maybe a smaller ruin. That maybe it could be an interesting spot depending on how the cultures meet. Something that we have things that multiple people could be. Let's see, that's a settlement ruins. That's a city ruins. Just a settlement. We'll put one. Yeah, we'll put one maybe here, here. Where might it be? Yeah, I'll put there. All right. So we got some ruins. So we got 1, 2, 3 ruins. I'll put another. Let me put another cultural thing. What do we have here? The white tree symbol, whirlpool symbol, tramp symbol. Oh, they got a waterfall symbol. Okay, there's some cool stuff here. Ooh, I like that. Radiation symbol, shipwreck. You definitely fill some of these out later. Ooh, a monolith. Yeah, I feel like a monolith would be good, but I don't know if I'm ready to put a monolith yet. Maybe I know we're going to keep honing this in, so maybe I don't need to hone it in too much. But let me make a. Let's put one. Put one there. Let me see what worlds with a number says. So I think, and remember, we're just right. We're starting here. We're just getting started. We're not. This is not locking us in. We can move these, delete them. Let's see what we're saying with. We got the regional map. We can use some generation stuff. Okay. Oh, you know what? We got tables here, and I wasn't using the tables. Let me get my glasses on here and zoom in. All right. We got some. Let's see. I got my dice out. I'll have to use. All right, so we're gonna roll for some. Let's roll for some terrain features. I kind of just went through this ad hoc, and I probably should have been rolling on the table. Let's see. Yeah, I think we're gonna get into the. All right, so I probably should have used the table on here, and I just kind of riffed through and did some myself. But we got some good. I feel like we got some good stuff, so I'm not going to go back. If we want to come back to it, we can. But we've got that. But I am going to roll some dice now. All right, so now we're in the kind of refining the map section. So let's look at some of these features, and we're going to roll some dice on it. So let's just start. We'll start with this grassland area over here. Let's see, can I generate some notes? No, I don't want to do that. Tools. Let me also save this. You know what? Hold on a minute. Let's see. Can I? Well, how do I do notes? I don't know how am I supposed to do notes? Where are notes? Where do I do notes? Can I right click? No. All right. I'm not sure where to do notes in here. It says that there I should be able to do notes, but I don't know. But I'm going to pull this out and throw it into. think I want 144. So that's all right. Logan's run X map. Export completed. Okay, so now I'm going to do a switcheroo. Now let's see if I can do this without killing Explorer again. Oh yeah, I gotta hold on a minute. I had to close all my Explorer windows, so I lost Miro. All right, hold on a second. Miro, let's back. Okay, now let's share. All right. Let's find a spot with some room. Oops. I gotta document. Hey, look at that. There's our hex map inside of Miro. No, I just never mind. I want a sticky note. Okay. All right. So then we have the what were they called? They were sort of called like poor grasslands. They were called poor grasses. Okay. No, I need ugh, I don't know what's gonna work best there. I don't know what's gonna work best there. All right, I'm just gonna go with it. Okay, let's roll some dice. Let's roll some dice. Enough is enough. All right, so how dangerous is it? How dangerous is it? I need to roll 1d6. Right. I need to roll 1d6. All right. Roll 6. Nothing. Dice made, you're not. Oh, dice main seems to be offline. Not working for me. God, everything's just going wrong for me today. All right, if I don't have dice main, what else have I got? All right, I got a 4. 4 says unusually dangerous in several ways. Four says, let's see. So, how dangerous? Unusually dangerous. Dangerous in several ways. Wait, right align that. Thank you. Several ways. I might have to figure out how to format this better. But for now, this will work okay. Now, the next question we have is, what use is it? So, is there anything worth anything worth coming here for? And I got a 1. Has a rare and precious resource. Okay, so let me write that in. That's interesting too. This is above ground. Bromos, welcome. Above ground. We are above ground. The ways. Has an unusual resource. Next question. What kind of event last happened here? Oh, that'll be an interesting one. What kind of event last happened here? I need a D10. I need a different roll. This roll is a little bit clunky for me. I just need a D10. Just 10, please. All right, I got a 3. 3, a usurper and supporters fled into it. Boy, that just sometimes you just get stuff and you're like, man, is that not a perfect answer? I mean, really, is that not a perfect answer? I mean, come on. I mean, that's perfect. Like the domes are there, and now we're saying it literally has generated a runner was captured by a Wookiee. If only. How about Ewoks? How about strange feral? I mean, I guess Ewoks are already feral. I was gonna say a feral Ewok, but what is more feral than an Ewok? Hard to say. But I mean, literally, that's funny. The location of the domes is where we get the roll that says, yeah, they fled here in the past. How populated is it? Should I even roll the d4? I mean, I think we kind of know the answer for this. It's almost unpopulated, except for the domes. The domes are extremely populated, but the terrain itself is almost unpopulated. So I'm just going to write that in. I'm not going to roll for it when we have kind of the clear answer that kind of needs to be. So I'll just put unpopulated and in the parentheses outside the domes. And then what's the last? What antagonists are common here? That's a D12. 6. Ooh, elemental emanations of the disordered land. Oh, Bromus, you were thinking THX. That would be another awesome thing to make. Nope, we're doing Logan's Run, but man, THX would be another great flick to do. You could probably combine them, I bet. And then what antagonists are here? We got elemental emanations of the disordered land, which again is just perfect. Sometimes you just get perfect stuff. Elemental Emanations. I mean, you could not really get more perfect answers than usurper and supporters fled here, and it's got some weird elemental issue. And then, all right, optional quirk. I'm not even sure what would be the best optional quirk to have, but gotta see. Oh my gosh. I rolled a 2. It has a place in the national origin legend. Like, I mean, it's probably not meant that way, but yes, it does. Because it is the Genesis, right? It is the Ovaltine Patrol. Berserker Chinchillas. Oh, could be. Could be. Yeah, it's the uh place in the national origin legend. Unfortunately, that doesn't quite fit only because it's not just a legend, it's the place they actually are. So let me roll that and see something else. We got 19. It's riddled with caves and delvings. That actually makes sense too, given that that's where these domes are constructed. There might be all kinds of stuff there. All right, where's my. All right. Riddled with caves and delvings. All right. So that actually is. Whoops. Oh, I got this arrow. I don't need your arrow. This is here. These things are all referring to this area. And I really mean just this whole area. So it really is perfect. Perfect. That really, somehow those dice ended up perfect, giving me, I could not have really asked for a better encapsulation of what the area is. It's dangerous and unusually dangerous in a couple different ways. It has an unusual resource, which you got to figure out what that is. It's where a usurper and their supporters fled, which makes, right, if we're talking about whatever happened during the cataclysm, certainly that makes sense. That some, who knows if it's was the good guys, the bad, whatever what happened, some element of them, they fled here, right, built the domes. It's unpopulated outside of the domes themselves. There's weird elemental emanations that are happening there, and it's riddled with caves and delvings, potentially other workings that have to do with the domes. Maybe there are domes that were not finished. Maybe there were domes that were destroyed that are also out here somewhere. There's a lot of interesting. We can have a lot of fun figuring those things out. I just wish there was a better. Maybe this is. Let me think of a. But I'm gonna put that there. Maybe that's better. So we really got some good stuff for that zone. So this zone here, which includes the domes, but the domes obviously have its own things. That's what's in that area. Let's see, what time is it? 58. All right. Anything else for the? So I don't want to go too far over the. I don't want to get too far into it. Sorry for my technical difficulties as Microsoft Edge decided to collapse under the weight of sharing the my World Augur window. I will share this probably this view here in the channel notes so folks can see it. Something to be great if folks can think about between now and whenever the next one is names. If you guys got some ideas for names of some of these places or what's here, these I'm using the TPs, but I'm not trying to give them a particular. I'm not trying to make this it's a a First Nations kind of deal. It was just trying to separate them from ruins and other things. So these are kind of the survivors. We're using TPs right now for survivor. The 3 here are ruins. This is a city ruins up at what's that 000,002. 2 are smaller settlement ruins. We've got 2 rivers, got some forests, a whole bunch of deadlands and dead kind of marshes. We have some marsh and then sort of forest wetlands over here. We have hills and forest over here. We've got just hills, and we sort of have deadland hills over here. Ovaltine Patrol says, is the elemental being supposed to be tied to the national myth? Maybe something like Thunderbird or Phoenix would fit. It doesn't say. Unknown. But we could certainly riff on that, and I will make a note. Comments are the elemental emanations tied to the, what do we call it? The citizenry national myths. I mean, it makes sense that if the whatever those things are, it makes sense that they might tie in. Maybe they've weakened, but they were much worse, and so you certainly couldn't have left the domes. But now they've calmed down. Now it's less over, so that people can potentially get out, but it still is dangerous for those who do. That could definitely be something we can think about. I like the idea with lots of caves and all kinds of stuff in here. It's another. Here we have sort of cosmopolitan ruins of structures, but these other kind of ruins, these sort of workings. We could get more into the mechanics. Are there other things like box that are out there that, or maybe they're still working? They got disconnected somehow, but they're still out there, right? They're still working on some level. Maybe they've gone rogue. They've gotten miswired, got their wiring crossed out. There's a lot of stuff we could do that would be very interesting. I'm just saving a screenshot while I'm thinking about it. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff. I always like when the dice kind of reinforce where you're going anyway, but throw you some new wrinkles. It's always kind of fun when it feels like the dice presaged what you're already doing, but giving you some new ammunition. So I think what we'll do, I'm not sure when the next one of these will be, but we'll go through all these different regions. So I'm kind of breaking this up into zones of like. So the Deadlands, I'll do one roll for them. These dead marshes, I'll do a roll for them. The dead hills, I'll do a roll for them. Then these kind of normal hills over here, I'll do a roll. And then for these hills, and then presumably we can get in finer detail. We can have different regions. We can have different particular hexes. But it's getting into these basic things, like what makes these hills, right? What makes this region, it's kind of regional interesting features, and then we can drill down deeper into there as need be. But we'll say that for the next one. I will throw this in the YouTube community tab. So if you go to the channel and you go to the community tab, I will plop this image in there. Again, sorry for the technical difficulties. Hopefully it won't happen again. My game night is tomorrow night, so I might do a prep stream tomorrow. We will see. We'll see about that. Otherwise, we'll come back and do this tomorrow. I have to review Cairn. I was there. Yochai Gal was nice enough to send me a copy of Cairn, so I want to read through Cairn. Maybe do that this week. And I got some other stuff in the hopper, but this is always percolating. But thanks, folks, for coming and hanging out, and we'll keep on keeping on. And I'm really excited. I love to see how we're making progress through each one of these. So we'll just keep on keeping on. Have a great rest of your day, night, weekend, whenever you're watching or listening to this. Game on. Talk to you later, folks.